boxes sit in the water column and on with a fine mesh screen, which house these very small oysters. It's about 2.5, 3 millimeters right now, for over the course of a few weeks, till they eventually get to this size. And these larger ones, we end up grading, meshing, putting in bags, and then grow them back out in the field.
How many oysters are in here, Greg?
There's approximately 2 million oysters growing in this whole setup right now.
How long before you can harvest and eat them?
It'll be about 18 to 24 months before we can finally have the public enjoy these fine babies.
Keep us relatively cool. Here we have our processing shed here. This helps us keep the oysters and the crew pretty cool. We have batteries with lights and pumps, wash pumps, so we can wash the oysters. So we deliver a nice clean product. All the oysters go through this table here. We cull through them and bag up the finest ones we have, and then ship them to you.
With the Vibrio rules, we have to have it harvested within 2 hours and iced. So with that strategy, there's a window where it's like, okay, if we harvest this at 9:30, by 11:30 they got to be on ice.
Yep.
Okay, and if not, by 11:30 our goal is to have the others in holding cars, and then we put them back on the farm. You'll see holding cars when we get there.
And what do you, when you're hand harvesting, what are you looking for? What makes it a perfect oyster?
It'll be an oyster that is of decent size.
Yep.
And most important is it has a deep cup.
Okay.
A nice deep part of the shell, because that's holding the real nice nectar right inside there. And that's what we want to be able to offer folks.
I know I've heard some oysters, they roll them to create a deep cup.
Yeah.
Do you do that?
It's called tumbling.
Tumbling.
Mother Nature does it for me here somewhat. But no, a lot of folks there, those are folks that grow them in bags all the time.
Okay.
Mine, most of ours here, what we do is we grow them in bags only when they're small. But once they get about that big, the size of your pinky nail by fall, like I was showing you before with the seed and the upweller, we'll grow them out in bags where you're going to see, and then at that point, they'll, by fall, they'll be this large. Then we broadcast them on the mud flat so they get that free range look.
Yep.
Okay. And that's a trade secret, though.
You're pulling them off the bed of the ocean now.
Yes. There they sit for another year and grow, and so they naturally may tumble a little bit, but not much.
But they don't move. They don't.
Not much. Ice moves them. Seaweed grows on them, drags them away. Ducks, crabs do a little nipping. But they don't propel themselves. But the guys that grow them in bags all the time, what they do is periodically take them out and they tumble them or shake them around, chip all the edges on them, and then they put them back out, because that just helps, as many believe, stimulate some growth. That keeps them
I understand oysters are really good at cleaning the water. They purify the water.
Yeah, for every 5,200 oysters, it removes the same amount of nitrogen as one human puts in the estuary. So basically what it is it's the kidneys of the bay. They're helping clean out the bay, make it a little clearer, so now sunlight can penetrate the seabed, make eelgrass grow, making more habitat for more other fishes. So down south they pay people to grow them underneath their docks to help with these water quality issues. But here it's just another little bonus of it, so to speak.
When it comes to flavor, why are Duxbury oysters so popular? Why are they better than other oysters?
I think it's because they start with a very salty finish. Start with a very salty start, and as you chew them, their bellies are full of the gametes, so they have a very sweet. Tend to have a sweeter finish when you chew them, and so it ends up being a perfect oyster.
How far away, when you harvest an oyster, how far away are they being sold now? I know they're big in Boston, obviously, New York.
As far as San Diego and some of the Virgin Islands, in Canada, Toronto. And a couple of them went out to Asia as well. So yeah, making our way around the world. Okay, what we have here is, you saw earlier that we were growing the seed out at the upweller. When they get the size of the pinky nail, the team and I grade them out, and we get out the ones that are the size of your pinky nail, and we put them in these mesh bags, in these holding these trays, so that we can, I don't know if you can see that, but the oysters are inside of this bag here. growing.
How many oysters are in there?
There's approximately 1,500 oysters right in there. So here, what we have here is these trays, grow out trays. And what we do is the ones that, while we cull, don't make the par to be sold to you, we throw them back into these sometimes. So they can sit and spend a little more time and grow a little bit more to be that perfect oyster. So that when you get this, it's a nice deep cup, beautiful oyster. This is another method of us growing as opposed to scouting them on the mud. We put them on a cage instead to be able to retain them and pull them when we want.
You have to harvest these pretty quickly.
Yeah, exactly. We have 2 hours. So once they came out of the water, the first exposure, we have 2 hours to cull through these. And when I say cull, in other words, sort through the large ones through the regular size. So when people buy a bag of 100, they get 100 of the same size. And also we got some that are just a little too small, not ready for our market. So these we'll put, it's called Return to the Grant. It's another section on the farm where they'll give them a little more time to grow to be just right. Yeah.